I've always been curious to see the difference between the professional and Cotman watercolour set from Windsor&Newton. So when Cassart decided to have a 20% off discount, I jumped on the occasion. Before we get into this unboxing, I just wanted to let you know that my collaboration with EVERPRESS is ongoing for a few more days, so if you want to grab a t-shirt, check out the link below. The set I ordered is the lightweight Sketchers box. It comes with one metal box and 24 half pans. As I was using the palette for the first time, I noticed that the pigment came right off and spread evenly onto the paper, unlike the Cotman set where I usually have to go back in multiple times for the same result. As I was laying down the colours side by side, I noticed that a few shades in the professional set were more vivid than the Cotman range. This is mainly noticeable with the yellows, pinks and greens. However, I'd say that the blues were pretty similar. Because the pigment is finer in the professional set on the right, I found that the colours dried more evenly. So here I'm preparing the colour palette for my paintings, one on the left with the Cotman watercolours and then another on the right with the professional ones. I tried to layer the darkest colour, which you see me doing now. When you look at the dried colour tests, you can definitely see a difference between the two. The Cotman set seemed to dry with less natural colours, I'd say. The purples are very different. The Cotman set has a texture, but definitely not the same quality of texture as the professional ones. And also the greens way more acidic and vivid, which could be very interesting depending on what you're looking for. Whereas the one in the professional set was more of a true green, I'd say. The same goes for the blue shades, where the blues of the Cotman set had a green undertone, whereas the ones in the professional set were true blues. I noticed this purple bushy plant in a very nice primary blue pot and thought it might be a nice subject to paint for this video. I find that when you move to a new place or visit a new city, you become more aware of your surroundings, and I hope that's something I carry on doing this year. I started with the Cotman side on the left, and one thing I noticed after using the professional watercolours is that I definitely had to go back in the pan way more to get enough pigment. And I guess this makes sense because when you try to make paint cheaper, you use more binder and less pigment, which means that the paint is going to feel slightly chalkier. So here on the right side I'm painting with the professional watercolor set, and it was much more enjoyable because I barely had to pick up any pigment and it glided onto the paper much better. It dried into a thinner layer, which made it easier for me to layer colors without having a patchy effect. As I was painting and the layers were slowly drying, I did notice that because the professional set has finer pigments, the finish was more even, and also I found that the shades dried back to a natural color that was true to the one I was looking for. Adding the second dark blue layer added depth and intensity without the chalky build-up I had with the Cotman ones, and I felt like I could carry on layering the watercolors without it becoming too dark or drying to an uneven, patchy finish. In conclusion, I think you can achieve great results with both, but you definitely have to spend more time picking up enough pigment with the Cotman set. The main difference was in the experience. It takes more motivation to achieve an even, natural-looking result with the Cotman set. However, there wasn't a huge difference in the result. In the end, it's up to how much practice you have with the medium and how you make it work for yourself. And as cheesy as it sounds, the tool doesn't make the artist. If you made it this far, I just wanted to thank you for spending time with me. If you want to see more of my work, you can find me on Instagram @Jozinnol.